Most videos about moving to Minnesota cover the same three things. It gets cold, people are polite, and there's enough lakes to make an Arizonan cry. All that stuff is true, but it doesn't help you decide whether you should move to Minnesota or not. I mean, you already know that stuff. The real Minnesota experience involves a whole bunch of stuff that might be deal breakers. So here are the 10 things you should know before moving to Minnesota that haven't already been beaten to death on YouTube. Let's take a look. Number 10, great worker benefits with a small cover charge. Minnesota has become one of the most worker-friendly states in the country. In 2026, the state launched a paid family and medical leave program, which can provide partial income when workers need time off for their own health, a new child, or a seriously ill family member. Of course, Minnesota didn't discover some magical forest where benefits grow on trees. The paid leave program is funded by a 0.88% premium on covered wages, and employers may deduct up to 0.44% of the employee's paycheck. For employees, especially those with children or aging parents, this can be a major advantage, and it looks really appealing when you think about it. For employers, it's one more thing they gotta deal with for the state. I think it's a good thing. I mean, our tax dollars go for some way stupider stuff. That's a decent thing to have. Number 9, your vehicle registration may ruin your morning. In many states, renewing your license plates is a predictable little fee. Minnesota looks at your vehicle's value and age before deciding how much your annual registration tax should be. That means someone driving a newer SUV may pay considerably more than someone driving a 14-year-old sedan held together with like road salt and a Lucky Charm. You know, you got like a little rabbit's foot hanging from the mirror, hoping everything holds together. Why does everyone think a rabbit's foot is lucky? I mean, they're not much of a thing anymore, but when I was a kid, everyone had them. I wasn't too lucky for the rabbit. Anyway, counties can also add wheelage tax, generally between $10 and $20, because apparently your wheels haven't contributed enough already. Before moving, run your vehicle through Minnesota's registration tax estimator. Otherwise, opening that first renewal notice may cause you to assume the state accidentally registered your Toyota as a yacht. California does the same crap. I mean, their registration is ridiculous. It's been 15 years since I lived there. But when I was there, it was insane. And the DMV sucks. I came up to Oregon. It was like 2 years for 10% the price I was paying in California. And the people at the DMV don't hate your guts just because you showed up. But in Minnesota, you can have some extra fees. You just don't get the people that hate you for showing up, because Minnesota people are really nice. They're just brought up properly. That's all there is to it. Number 8, the sales tax layer cake. Minnesota's statewide sales tax is 6.875%. If that's not enough, you get some extras on there. In the 7 counties of the Twin City area, there's another 0.75% for transportation taxes and then 0.25% for housing taxes. They're all added onto every taxable purchase. Then, of course, cities and counties may add their own local taxes. The final rate can change depending on whether you're living in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Bloomington, or a nearby suburb that looks exactly like the previous suburb, except the target is on the other side of the freeway. Yeah, Minnesota really likes their taxes. They're not the worst in the country. They're ranked 15th overall. But when you look at their income tax burden, they're ranked 6th in the nation. The thing with Minnesota is it changes so drastically from city to city and county to county. Number 7. You might get some of your property taxes back, but you gotta ask. Minnesota's property taxes aren't necessarily low, but the state has an unusual refund system. Qualifying homeowners can receive a homestead credit refund based on their income and property taxes. There's also a special refund for homeowners whose property taxes rise sharply. Normally I try and stay away from tax discussions because I don't understand it that well. But when they're giving refunds back, you kinda gotta talk about it, right? Renters may actually qualify for renter's credit, although it's now claimed through the state income tax return rather than through the old separate renter refund form. This is good news, but it also means moving to Minnesota may require a deeper relationship with tax paperwork than you originally planned. The state can owe you money and remain completely relaxed while you fail to claim it. Kind of like being at a restaurant and they don't bring you any silverware or utensils, whatever you want to call them. Then you ask the waiter, you're like, where's the silverware? He's like, well, you didn't ask. Just look at him. I'm eating soup. Number 6, City Hall can be your liquor store. Minnesota has municipal liquor stores, meaning the local government may be the one selling you beer, wine, and whiskey. Cities with a population of 10,000 or fewer can establish and operate their own liquor stores. Sometimes it's a bar and a liquor store at the same time. Nothing says limited government quite like a city council controlling the bourbon aisle. The good news is the profits help pay for parks, roads, community centers, and local services. So technically every bottle you buy is helping repair a playground or purchase a snow plow. So drink up, you're just helping the kids have better parks, you know? You at the bar taking another shot, I'm doing it for the kids. You better give me a 12-pack for the road too, because those kids need a slide. So it's basically drinking for infrastructure, which sounds more responsible than whatever you were calling it before. The really strange part is each town could have their own rules, so they could change, 4 miles down the road. This includes limited hours and a manager who probably knows your parents. Before moving to a small Minnesota town, check where alcohol is sold, when it closes, and whether buying a 6-pack also means indirectly funding a municipal pickleball court. If you don't drink, don't worry about it. Forget about number 6, move on to number 5. Number 5, a rural home may be its own water department. Now we sort of talked about this one when we did a video like this for Montana. Sometimes you get outside in the sticks, you gotta dig a well and supply your own water. Now there are companies that will do this for you. They're not expecting 72-year-old grandparents out there with shovels one night trying to get some water. The good news is water is everywhere in Minnesota. So it's not like you got to worry about, landing on a piece of property that doesn't have any water. Now, Minnesota doesn't generally require private well water to be tested when a property changes hands, although lenders or individual counties may require it. State health officials recommend regular testing for bacteria, nitrate, arsenic, lead, and magnesium. Especially the arsenic. State data from wells tested between 2008 and 2022 found that more than 10% had arsenic levels above federal standards. So when you're touring rural properties, don't spend the entire inspection admiring your new barn. Test the water. That farmhouse sink won't seem nearly as charming if it dispenses tiny amounts of poison. Number 4, owning lakefront property doesn't mean you own the lake. Minnesota lake homes look wonderfully simple in real estate photos. House, dock, boat, sunset, and absolutely no photographs of the county's zoning office. The reality is it can slow construction, you gotta do vegetation removal. There's rules of what you could do near the water. Now, docks on a lake don't require like a state permit. They do have some basic rules and they're kind of common sense. Make sure they don't go too far out into the water. They need to be narrow. They can't be a navigation hazard. And then you gotta check and see what the local rules are. Removing or controlling aquatic plants may also require some kind of permission from the county or the city or something like that. In other words, buying lakefront property does not make you the admiral of lake whatever. Before buying, check the county shoreline ordinances, septic requirements, flood history, dock rules, and lake association restrictions. Otherwise, your dream dock may become a very expensive horizontal argument with the government. Number 3, the cabin class system. In Minnesota, asking someone whether they have a place up north is basically asking whether their family owns a second house without sounding rude. Cabins are a major part of the state's social structure. Every Friday afternoon, half of the Twin Cities start load up coolers, dogs, fishing poles, and 3 generations of unresolved family tension into an SUV and head north. By Sunday evening, everyone returns smelling like campfire smoke and complaining about traffic they personally helped create. Now here's the rub. If you don't own a cabin, your summer social life may depend on knowing someone who does. Cabin invitations are valuable Minnesota currency, but they're rarely free. You may be expected to bring food, help remove a dock, stack firewood, clean fish, and spend 6 hours fixing something the owner described as a quick little project. I mean, obviously you're going to pitch in and help. This isn't a 4-star resort, Before buying one yourself, remember that a cabin is not just a peaceful retreat. It is another roof, another septic system, another property tax bill, another building where mice can establish a winter government. It's not just go up there, have fun, you own a cabin. Minnesotans call it getting away from it all. Financially, you may discover that it all followed you up there and needs a new water heater. Number 2, rural Minnesota healthcare. Minnesota has major healthcare institutions, including the Mayo Clinic and large Twin City medical systems. That reputation can make people assume the entire state is just flush with the most amazing doctors and hospitals and nurses, and all your ills will be cured, just right down the road. It's not always the case. Minnesota health officials report that rural hospitals have lost services over the past decade, like inpatient surgery, mental health care, and OBGYN. 18 counties lost or reduced hospital birth services between 2013 and 2023. Rural patients seeking inpatient mental health or chemical dependency treatment travel more than 3 times farther than their urban patients. So Minnesota does have a great reputation for their healthcare, and that is wonderful. You just got to be close to it is the biggest problem. And a lot of people move to Minnesota to live rural. So before you move you and your arthritis to Minnesota, make sure you're close to a place that can help you when you have a flare-up. Those small Minnesota lake towns look amazing. A little less so when you find out it's a 2-hour drive to see a doctor. Check where the closest emergency room is, cardiologist, cancer center, maternity ward, and specialists. Find out where they're located. Hospital nearby doesn't always mean hospital offering the things you actually need. All right, before we get to number 1, if you're thinking about moving to a new place, there's a link for Home and Money in the description area below. They can get you in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Minnesota isn't cheap, it's bundled. Minnesota is not the place to move if your only goal is to pay the lowest possible taxes and fees. You'll probably find cheaper vehicle registration, lower income tax rates, and fewer payroll deductions somewhere else. What Minnesota offers is more of a package deal. Workers receive paid sick time and family leave. Families have open enrollment options. Renters receive tax kickbacks. The state maintains extensive parks, public services, healthcare systems, schools, and infrastructure. Think of Minnesota as the Costco of states. The membership fee isn't nothing, but there's quite a bit inside the building. That makes Minnesota a strong fit for families, workers who value employment protections, people who use public amenities, and anyone who wants a mix of major city opportunities and outdoor spaces. It's a weaker fit for people chasing rock-bottom taxes, retirees with complicated taxable income, or rural movers who assume the small town offers metropolitan-level healthcare and internet. And that's what you got to remember about Minnesota. It's just all a big package. Does that package fit what you're looking for overall? So should you move to Minnesota? I think for about 75% of us, it's a great place to live. Would you move to Minnesota? Let me know in the comment section below. Minnesota has become one of the most work-friendly. Minnesota has become one of the more work-friendly. Number 9, your vehicular. Number 9, your vehicle registration may ruin your morning. Number 8, sales tax layer cake. Layer cake sounds good. Layer cake. All right, that's today's video. If you enjoyed this one, you're going to love the one we did about Montana. It's a nice video. Jesus Christ. All right, that's today's video. If you like this one, I know you're going to love this one. It's the same thing, but about Montana. Everyone have a great day. Be nice to each other. Sound horrible. All right, that's today's video. If you enjoyed that one, I know you're going to love this one. It's about Montana. All right, that's today's video. All right, that's today's video. If you enjoyed... All right, that's today's video. If you enjoyed that one, I know you're going to love this one. It's about Montana. Everyone have a great day. Be nice to each other.